let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering, for he is faithful that promised. And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as a manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as you see the day approaching. Amen. May God bless the reading of his word. I'm just going to speak for a short time tonight on the importance of assembling, of gathering or meeting together, as we are doing tonight. I'm just going to do a very quick acrostic on the word meet, MEET. And as we come to this first point of the M is for the meeting. And here we are tonight. It's a Wednesday, and we've come together to worship together. And although we're not physically together, through Zoom, we're able to come and meet together and worship the Lord together. And we see that it's tremendously important that we are together. It's tremendously important that we come regularly as the family of God, as the people of God, as a church, to meet together and to worship together. And there's many, many benefits from being together. And that's probably what has made this time quite difficult, because we're not physically together. Although, we've said many times there's a tremendous benefit from the Zoom, from being on Zoom. We have been really been blessed a lot through being able to see each other and be part of the meeting together. There's been a tremendous blessings. I think I think we would all really have struggled if we never had this. If we couldn't see one another as we do tonight, hear each other pray, even for the preachers to be able to bring the message and see everybody's faces, and know that everybody's there. I know that some churches they're preaching live on Facebook and through YouTube, but for the preacher there's not the same engagement that people are there. You can see maybe just numbers, but here we can see one another, and I think that's a tremendous benefit. It's certainly a tremendous benefit for us as we come, when we pray, that we hear each other's praying. Even as I've said before, even at the start of the meeting, to hear brothers and sisters sharing things and sharing blessings and sharing what's happened. And as Wilhelmina was sharing with us at the start about our brother-in-law George, and so we have a better understanding of things. You get to hear that, and everybody hears it, and everybody knows what we're praying for and different things like that. And it's been good because we are together. And while it's good to be together, we know, as we read in Hebrews chapter 10, it's, first and foremostly, why we come together is because God has commanded us to come together. Forsake not the assembling of yourselves together. So for God it's important. That we do meet together, that we come together to worship him. We can, as individuals, have good times of prayer, have good times of meditating the word, of studying the word. We can do that as individuals. But we see that God tells us to come as a fellowship, to worship him together, and that's what blesses God. And also it's a blessing to us. It's a blessing to us as saints to come together and to worship the Lord together, to see all your faces, to even through the worship, to worship. And although that's difficult right now, because we're all singing on our own and we're hearing Andrew, we are still worshipping. That you can still see each other worshipping, and there's a blessing in that. And there's certainly a tremendous blessing in coming together and seeing one another and sharing with one another, and that's a blessing. And then thirdly, it's important as a witness that we gather together. It's important that people see that we are coming, and that's what we hope, and that's why we hope very soon to see our church opened again. That's important, and that's what we're pushing towards, to see when we can get to the church and we can be back together. We can be back in the house of God, and we can gather together. For each one of us, our neighbours in the past have seen us going to church. And there'll be neighbours who don't even really know us very much, but they know that you go to church. They see you going out every Sunday morning dressed for church with your Bible, going out to the house of God. And I'm sure they ask other people, where do they go? And somebody will say, I go to church. So your neighbours see you going to church. It's a witness. For those who pass by the church, they see the church doors open, and they see, whether they believe in God or anything, but they know there's a people there who've gathered because they believe God. There's a people there who believe the word of God. And that's why it's important to come together as witnesses to what God has done and the goodness of God. And we see that, that's what we pray for, that we will be, hopefully sooner than we think, back in the house of God. And we know that we'll see that further on. There'll be difficulties even with that. But that's what we look towards. We look towards being back together. Because as I say, we have been greatly blessed. We've seen so many answers to prayer. We've seen so many encouragements through the Zoom, but there is limitations. There are definitely limitations, and it can be difficult. While we've come to the meeting, we are in our own homes, and that just, it's not the same. It's not just quite the same as being in the church. And there's in some ways there's more distractions at times when you are in your own house. It's not quite the same as being in the church. But we thank God that we are here, and we see even in that the importance of getting to these meetings, getting to the Zoom meetings, and getting when the meetings are on to be in, to worship and to be together, because it's important. Because God wants us to be together. We want to be together, and we thank God for that. And that brings us to the E's. The first E is for excitement. When I was preparing this last night, looking at this, I thought, it's good. It's exciting to get to the meeting. I had quite a long day. I spent most of my day in Dumfries, and I didn't feel just quite as excited when I got home from work. And that can happen. We can have long days. We can have difficult days. We can have other things going on, and perhaps we come to the meeting, we don't feel just as excited as we normally would. But we see that we should be excited. There's certainly a lot to be excited about. We are God's people. God has chosen us. God has loved us. He's saved us, and He's brought us together. And that's, as we all look at the screens and we see each other, we've all come from different places and from different backgrounds, but God has brought us together, and we are part of a family that God has brought together in Zion. And we thank God for that. And we should be excited. We should be excited tonight. As I say, there has been tremendous blessings during this lockdown period. We've seen tremendous answers to prayer. We've been praying for people who have real serious life health conditions, and we have seen God move. We've been greatly encouraged by answers to prayer for different people. We think of Pauline, and we think of Francis and Jill, and even our brother Tom here in the meeting tonight. And we've prayed for things, and we've seen God answer. What is, again, as our brother Jack mentioned on the Lord's Day, another thing that's encouraging is that people who are not in the church have asked those of you in the church could you ask the church to pray? And that's exciting, because they believe that we've got access to God, and that our prayers make a difference. And that should excite us, that people are asking for prayer, and that we can come together. And in a few moments' time, we will pray. We should be excited to thank God for another day. We should be excited to thank God for all that He's done for us. And in so many respects, we've got so much to be thankful for. And we've so much to pray for as well. We've got a lot of things to pray for, and we should be excited, and we should be expectant as we come to prayer to say, what will God do tonight? What will we pray for tonight that we will hear the answer for on Friday? Because, if we come in faith and we believe in faith, then God will reward our faith. And I believe that God has already been rewarding the faith of God's people as they come to prayer. And we see, you just don't need to turn this up particularly, but over in John chapter 20, in John chapter 20, we see the Lord had been crucified, and it was the first day of the week, and the disciples had gathered together with the others. They gathered together, and obviously this was a difficult time. This was a difficult time for them all. We see that they've gathered together. The doors were shut for fear of the Jews. And I can see that for some people, that when we come together, there will be a fear when we get back in the church, a fear of the virus. I think it's definitely there. It's definitely there for some people. I think for myself, I'm back at work now, and I see more people, and you tend to forget about it. You just go on with things because you're out a lot. But I know that there's other people who are shielding, and for other issues have real concerns about, and rightly so, real concerns about it. And there could be fear. There could be fear coming back to the church. Will we be okay? And we see here in John chapter 20 and 18 and 19. And Mary Magdalene came and told the disciples that she had seen the Lord, and she had spoken, and he had spoken these things unto her. Then the same day at evening, being the first day of the week, when the doors were shut, where the disciples were assembled for fear of the Jews, came Jesus and stood in the midst and said unto them, Peace be unto you. You know, how exciting that meeting must have been. They'd come from a place of tremendous sadness, of their hearts being broken that Jesus had died. They had heard then that morning that people were saying they'd seen Jesus. And that was hard for them to comprehend. How could they be saying these things? Why were they saying these things? Could they even allow themselves to believe that Jesus was alive? It seemed ridiculous. You know, there's some people, if they tell you things, you just think, okay, that's fine. But there's other people, when they tell you things, you trust them, you know them, you know they don't make things up, and you think, that must have happened, but I can't believe, even although I believe that person, I can't believe it. You know, the excitement they must have experienced in that meeting as Jesus was there. You know, it must have been an incredible emotion. And, you know, we see that, you know, 8 days later they met again. And, you know, Thomas had missed that first meeting. And again, it does show us the importance of being at the meeting. You know, at that meeting, when they met again, they must have come with a tremendous excitement that Jesus would come again, that something would happen. You know, from that moment till the next moment, they must have been so excited. And the same must be true for us, brothers and sisters. We must come because God is here. God is with us in our own homes as we gather together. God is with us. He's in our hearts. And we should come with an excitement tonight that God loves us, that God has chosen us to be together, and that we can come together, that we can, in a few moments' time, we'll pray to God. We'll come into the presence of God and we'll thank God. And we'll pray that the Holy Spirit's presence would come down amongst us in our own individual homes and as we meet together, and that would have increase our faith to pray for things that perhaps we might think are impossible, just as Jesus being alive seemed to be impossible, but to believe that and to have this faith and this excitement to say, I believe this tonight. I'm going to pray for this tonight. I'm excited in what God can do. And then that we see that we have to bring that excitement as well. You know, we have to come and be ready for the meeting, to be excited. You know, as I say, you know, when I get in today, it had been quite a long day, and I just thought, I'm tired. But you know, you have to then come and say, you know what, we've come. This is the meeting. We've come together to worship God together. We've come together to worship God and to encourage each other, as our scripture in Hebrews said, to encourage one another as we gather together. And that brings us, the second is for engagement. And we see that, you know, it's good to get on to the meeting, and it's good to, when we actually are in the church, to get to the meeting. But we see that when there needs to be more than just being present in the meeting. We see that we've got to come and bring something to the meeting. And even in, you know, we see that the preacher has got to prepare. Andrew goes over the songs, practices the songs, puts the songs on for us, and we'll lead the worship. But each one of us has a part to play. And we might think, well, I don't have much part to play. I'm just a wee square on this screen. But, you know, just being a square on that screen in some ways is a tremendous blessing. I know if you remember back a couple of weeks ago, when the Wednesday night where we saw Mike and Elizabeth, and we saw Jassy and Babita and Arpit and Kajel all on for the first time after all those weeks, everybody was greatly blessed. They just made it on, and that in itself was a great thing, and that was a great encouragement to us all. And we see that, you know, we all have a part to play. We've all got something to bring to the meeting, that we can encourage one another, that we can bless one another. You know, and you don't need to turn it up, but in 1 Corinthians chapter 12, and the verses 12 to 27, it tells us that we are part of a body. And in the body, there are different parts of the body. Not all of the body does the same thing. And some parts of the body do things, and as the verse goes on to say, you know, the hand can't say, I want to be the eye, because the eye has a role to play and the hand has a part to play. And each one of us, as we come to this meeting tonight, has a part to play. And it's important that we bring our part to the body, that the body functions, that we bless one another, and that we encourage one another. And that's something that we all have and that we all can do. And we see that it's more even than just than just coming on. But and if, as I say, we'll have an opportunity to pray. And I've you know, what I've noticed since we've come to the Zoom is that people are praying who didn't pray very much before in the meetings. People are praying who never prayed before in the meetings, and that's tremendously encouraging. And I know that encourages us all as you hear new people praying, as you hear people coming on to pray, and we give God thanks for that. And I just pray that when the time of prayer comes, that perhaps if you haven't prayed before, that you might say, tonight's my night that I'm going to pray. Maybe you don't pray very often, and it's not. I know that it's not easy at times, but perhaps you might think, tonight I'm just going to unmute myself, and I'm just going to give thanks to the Lord for what He's done. I'm going to give thanks to the Lord, and I'm going to pray for whatever's in your heart tonight. We see that is what we can bring to the meeting, and it does bring, you know, because I think sometimes some people miss and they don't think anybody notices them. You know, I remember a few weeks ago, our brother William was ill, and at the start of the meeting, people were saying, "Where's William?" Because he was always one at the start with his witty banter, and people were saying, "Don't see William." And then the meeting started, and then the meeting finished, and at the end, people were saying, "What does anybody know what's happened to William?" And you know, it shows us that they were missed when we're not at the meeting. We are missed, and you know, so I think sometimes some people perhaps who do miss probably think, "Oh, nobody even knows if I'm there or not. Nobody even cares if I come on or I don't come on." But we see that we're a body, and each part of the body is needed and is loved, and that's important for us all to remember that you know, when we don't feel great, perhaps we don't having a great day, and we're just thinking, "Oh, I don't think I'll bother." You know, that the body is looking for you, the body needs you, and we all have a part to play in encouraging one another, and obviously, firstly, to glorify the Lord, but also to encourage one another. And that brings us just to the last point, which is the T is for test. And you know, as I say, we hope that as the lockdown is, let's pray that, you know, there'll be an easing of the restrictions from the First Minister tomorrow. Let's pray that this R number is down, and that it's safe for everybody to get out more, and that we would get to the church. And that will bring challenges, of course it will, because it won't just be back to normal. You know, we'll have to put in social distancing measures, and there will be, you know, I know some of you are desperate to cuddle each other or maybe just be cuddled. But we know that there's things we need to do, and that brings challenges. It will bring challenges as visitors come in. But you know, we're ready to meet those challenges, and we're ready to see what can be done. And I think it's important. I was talking to somebody today, that they have a church in Kilmarnock. I was talking to them this morning, and you know, it's important that when the church is open, that we get back to the church. And we might say, well, of course we'll get back to the church. That's what we're all waiting for. But you know, there is a temptation as well that, you know, the Zoom is easy. The Zoom is very easy. You know, I think in my own situation, and this is not a sob story. This is just how it is. Sometimes, you know, I'll be working in Glasgow till just after 5, and then it takes me about 45 minutes to get home, and then you get in at 6, and you know that you're leaving. You need to leave at 20 past, and you've got your dinner, and you don't leave at 20 past, then you're running late. You're getting into the meeting late to the meetings. You're just turning up a bit late, and whereas now you can get in and have your dinner, and if you want a wee nap, you have a nap, and then 10 minutes before the meeting starts, you just click it on, and you're in. You're there, and it is easy. It's easy, but you know, it's important that we get back to being together, because this is great. This has been great, and it's not something. I think it's something that we'll look at, because there are people who can't get to the meetings. That's, you know, just there's well, Scott and Selena and Dunoon, so it's difficult for them, and there's other people with other challenges. So we don't want to lose that part of it as well. But we see that there is an importance of getting back to the house of God, because, you know, even in every industry, there's a fear that, will people come back when these things open? Will people come back to things, because it's been such a long time and they get out of the way of things? And, you know, I believe that we'll all look forward to being back in the house of God, but there will be challenges even around that. We have been out of the way of things for quite some time. And again, there's a fear. There can be a fear of if you haven't been out much, and if you're shielding, you know, is it safe to come back? And we just have to overcome all of those things. We need to look at all of those things to make sure that we can overcome all the different challenges to be back together, to be back in the house of God, to be back in Zion. And we see, you don't, again, we'll not turn this up for the sake of time, but over in Daniel chapter 3, we know the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They found themselves in a very, to see a test in circumstances is an understatement. I think what is very, very topical at the minute, everybody was to bow down before the statue. And here we have people bowing down and wanting to pull down the statues. But they were in a situation where they were to bow down before this image, and obviously they were never going to bow down before that. And we see even today, with all that's happening in the world, all the things, the protests for it and against it, we see a tremendous hypocrisy in all of these things. We see people who want to pull down images, and certainly not getting into the rights and the wrongs of all of that. But what we see is, they're looking back through people's history and saying they did this wrong and they did that wrong. Where will we find a perfect person? We'll find it in the Lord Jesus. We find a perfect person in the Lord Jesus with no fault. But what do we find? The mob, the crowd, they crucified him. And we see that even in all of these things, there's people there defending the statues, and they don't even really know what statues they're ready to defend, and they fight with the police. And then there's other people. I saw an image of a white person abusing a black police officer, and what's he there for? He's there defending that black person's rights, and it's just terrible. And it's just the world we live in, because what we see is a lack of respect, a lack of respect for authority. People don't want to be told what to do. People want to do what they want to do. And that's evident. You see other people, and they're taking a knee and they're apologising for things they've never done. They're not racist. They've never owned slaves, but they're happy to apologise for that. They won't bow the knee to apologise to God for the sins in their lives, because it's easy to apologise for things that you haven't done. But when it comes to the actual sins in our lives, are we prepared to apologise and repent of our sins? People don't want to repent. They don't want to apologise to God. And we see that in our land. But for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they found themselves in this situation. And over in it's in Daniel, I'll just turn this in Daniel chapter 3. And they found themselves in the furnace. And in that furnace, I'm sure that's the last place they'd wanted to be. It's the last place they expected to be, but they were prepared. We were prepared for it. We were prepared to go. And in verse 25, I think it's verse 25. Here we go. I'll read verse 25. Therefore, and this is now, he answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose and walking about in the midst of the fire, and they had no hurt, and the form of the fourth is like the Son of Man. What a meeting they had under difficult circumstances, under testing circumstances. What a meeting they had. And we see that, brothers and sisters, that there will be challenges, there will be difficulties, but God is with us and God will bless us. They were literally on fire in that meeting, although the fire never touched them. And we prayed it tonight that we would have the fire of the Holy Spirit, and that we would be in fire tonight to thank God for the family of God, to thank God for each other, to thank God that we have this opportunity to gather together and to pray together, and to pray for those who need our prayers tonight, to pray for those who are sick, to pray for those who are unconverted. And that's what we've come to do this night. And we just pray that God we know God will hear our prayers, and maybe pray in faith, maybe pray with an excitement tonight that what God can do. Amen.